It's been about 5 years since Slay the Spire exploded onto the scene on Steam and quickly secured its position as the quintessential roguelike deck building game. With over 1.5 million copies sold, it's not exactly a niche title, but I think that number deserves to be way larger given just how incredible this game is. With availability on PlayStation, Xbox, PC, Mac, and Switch, there is no reason not to have this game in your library and start enjoying the game that defines its genre. You play as a champion scaling a mysterious tower and clearing it of evil floor by floor. Like many card games, gameplay is focused less on narrative and more on strategic choices to just win, plain and simple. You get to choose your way up multiple randomly generated paths up the tower, facing monsters, fighting bosses, finding shops, and exploring mystery events. Each monster encounter plays out as a turn-based combat in which your actions are dictated by the cards drawn from your deck over multiple turns. You'll have to strategically decide which cards to play to destroy your foes and protect yourself from damage. Each floor you clear rewards you with options to modify the cards in your deck, whether it be adding cards, removing them, upgrading them, or swapping them out. Over the course of a game, you'll need to make smart decisions to ensure you build a coherent deck out of the random cards you're offered that will allow you to overcome a variety of diverse challenges. Once you win or die in the effort, you'll be sent back to scale the tower all over again. The game offers a total of 4 different champions available to choose from. Each champion has a unique pool of 75 cards that can appear during a run, as well as access to 75 neutral cards that can be used by anyone, and this allows each champion to have a completely unique playstyle to master. 75 unique cards per champion hits a sweet spot where you will find a huge number of potential synergies to create and tons of viable builds without diluting the potential of any given deck by just drowning you in sheer randomness. In addition to the cards in your deck, you will also be able to find a number of relics throughout your runs, which grant you powerful abilities that boost certain types of cards or completely change the way that abilities or even the game itself works. For instance, a relic might reduce the health of all bosses you face, another might simply grant you extra gold for killing monsters, another allows you to find and collect cards that belong to other champions, which can make your deck immediately terrible or open up brand new synergies that turn you into a god-killing maniac. Slay the Spire strikes the perfect balance of creating lots of options and variability for tons of replayability without completely overwhelming you in RNG and stuff to memorize. One of the things I absolutely love about this game is how well designed your enemies are. Each encounter is carefully designed to offer a unique challenge that can perfectly counter a specific deck building strategy. Your deck might clear every floor effortlessly until you meet a monster that just absolutely stonewalls and destroys you. Some will stuff your deck full of useless cards, punishing small decks. Some will be able to block debuffs, hampering poison decks and decks that rely on weakening their enemies. Some will punish the use of self-buffing cards, forcing you to leave them unplayed. Because of this design, you might find your first games to be pretty brutally difficult, but as you play, you'll learn what each champion has the potential to do, what challenges the various monsters present, and how to put together viable synergies of cards. Thus, unlike a lot of games that rely on acquiring experience points and brute force power scaling your hero, progression in Slay the Spire is largely knowledge-based and relies entirely on you getting smarter. This makes progression feel absolutely incredibly satisfying, because it's not about grinding out levels, it's about using your own intelligence to overcome your challenges. That being said, there is a bit of a meta progression mechanic in place where as you finish runs with each champion, either by victory or defeat, you're granted points which will grant you access to rarer, stronger cards in the champion's arsenal. Unlocking this content happens fairly organically over the course of play, and you are by no means prevented from achieving victory beforehand, so it offers a nice sense of purpose and progression to your early defeats while you learn how to play. Another aspect of this game that I really appreciate is its pacing. I don't always have 8 hours to spend on a match, let alone all in a single session. Slay the Spire runs typically only take about an hour or maybe 2 if you're playing very deliberately, and you can save and quit whenever you want to come back later. This makes the game accessible to just about anyone's schedule and prevents the game from becoming too grindy or turning into a slog. On the topic of pacing, you begin with the game with access to only one of the 4 champions, and each time you achieve victory with the unlocked champion, you unlock the next one. This can maybe feel a little bit like gatekeeping fun, but overall I feel like this is a smart choice to let new players learn the ropes without feeling overwhelmed by all the choices of having to learn 4 different playstyles all at once. I absolutely fell in love with Slay the Spire during my first couple hours of play, and I've sunk literally hundreds of hours into it since, and it's become one of my favorite strategy games of the past 10 years. There have been many other solid and very fun games to join the scene since its release, including Monster Train, Across the Obelisk, and Vault of the Void, just to name a few. but with its balanced design and near endless replayability, Slay the Spire definitely holds its ground in 2023 as one of, if not the pinnacle game of its genre. Have you played Slay the Spire? Leave a comment to let us know what you think about it. If you've made it this far, please give this video a like as it really helps the channel to grow. And if you'd like to see more gaming content and tips from me, please consider subscribing to the channel. And until next time, happy gaming.